Alright, real quick, time for another devlog. And yeah, this is devlog number 12, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not fact-checking that, because it honestly does not matter. I'm pretty sure it's devlog number 12, though. And I'm just showing a full run-through of the game so far, for no real reason. I'm going to be doing this next devlog anyway, so there's no real reason for me to show it now, other than just to say stuff, I guess. I'm just taking this as an opportunity to talk about things, I guess. So, the first public build. I've decided that the first public build will only contain one character. And the only real reason for that is so I can get the next build up, the first build up in a reasonable amount of time. So, the first public build will not contain a second playable, just Thomas. Which is a bit unfortunate, but whatever. You know, it makes sense. The way I'm dividing this up is since there's going to be 10 stages, every 2 levels I'll do a new playable. So the first 2 stages have Thomas. Stages 3 and 4 will have playable character 2. Stages 5 and 6 will have playable character 3. 7 and 8 playable character 4, and 9 and 10 playable character 5. So yeah. And all of the code for stage 2 is done now. So that's kind of neat, I guess. So it's literally a matter of days before I get stage 2 fully textured up. And as you can see, going to the next stage kind of works. Now, the first public build will not have like stage transitions or even boss death animations because, you know, it's the first build. Just getting a playable thing up and running is much more important than a lot of the cosmetic stuff at first. But yeah, I'm going to try and get stage 2 textured at the very least. So it's literally going to be a matter of days before the first public test build drops. So that's kind of neat. Not that it really matters anyway, because a lot of the people who are going to play this are the friggin' playtesters. So, yeah. The fact that there's going to be a public build really won't have that many new people able to play the game, considering a large majority of the people who are going to play the game are already playtesters for the game and have already played the game. So, yeah. It's kind of redundant to do that, but whatever. You know. There would be real no point in making the game if I wasn't going to upload it publicly, so yeah. Expect the first public test build to come up in a couple of days. Now, the thing I've added for stage 2, because I've only added technically one thing, and that's a new move for Ozicold here. I've edited a lot of his stuff so that he's more balanced. Like, I've increased the speed of the fireball and changed the way it tracks a little bit so it's less finicky. Still a little finicky, but less so. And there's his new move. He just pulls a friggin' enemy out of his wings and launches it. So yeah, these lizard guys, since the average new enemy amount for friggin' Rise was 2 enemies per stage, and this stage only has 1 new enemy type, that being the Lasser, decided to just make friggin' Ozicold able to summon a completely exclusive enemy type that will appear literally nowhere else in the game, and they die in 1 hit. I easily could have made that a Gruntus, or heck, a Lasser if I wanted to make it harder, but no. And if you do get hit by them while he's throwing them, like while they're in their knocked out state after he's thrown them, you will take damage. I'll prove it and die from it. See? Oh, I didn't die from it. I died from the Shadow Fireball. But yeah, you do take damage from it. You're very unlikely to get hit by the toss enemy itself. It will do damage to you, but you're very unlikely to get hit by it because of the fact that it arcs like that. If it was more straight on, then you would get hit by it and it'd actually be a kind of a problem, but it's not really. Just gonna speed run to the end here so I can kill the friggin' Ozicold. And Ozicold is not a difficult boss, like, at all. But then again, Knights is not a difficult game, like, at all. And if you do use the friggin', like, downward shield bash, you can just interrupt his attack, his friggin', like, fireball or toss attack. So he can't do the friggin' thing. And he just has not done, there it goes, okay. And you can just kind of ignore the lizard guys where they're not that big of a deal. But yeah, Ozicold's not really a tricky boss, but you know, it is the second boss after all. The thing about Ozicold, the reason he exists is I wanted to make a dragon fight that was both fun, not complete and utter, not fun for the player. Because the way you fight Sumer in Rise, the idea with Sumer is, you know, having a big spectacle boss fight. The idea behind Sumer was, you know, big dragon guy. The thing with Sumer is that where he's so early in the game, you have to make compromises to make him easier, okay? And where he's literally the second boss. Sure, 40% of the way in the game theoretically is a long point in the game, but remember, Rise is only 5 levels. So that's still relatively early. The only real thing you've had that's a challenge is like parts of stage 2, I guess. But anyway, so you have to tone Sumer down quite a bit and not make him that much of a threat. But you also have to make him, you know, spectacle stuff. So in the first version of Rise, he had one attack, and his other move was summoning an enemy, and neither of those are really tricky, because if you've already dealt with Mazghouls the whole level at that point, and the fireball's not really an issue, and Restoration added a new attack, sure, that's really what Sumer should have launched as, but he's still kind of a disappointment because it doesn't really do anything, in all honesty. And spoiler alert, there's a dark mode version of Sumer that is completely different in Rise, and I don't think many people know about it, because I've never uploaded footage of it. But Sumer in Dark Mode of Rise is actually an entirely different boss. New sprite, new arena entirely, and even though he technically has similar moves, they're animated differently, have different, you know, hitboxes and stuff, but whatever. That version's even worse than base Sumer. So I want to make Ozicold, not make him difficult per se, but make it where he's just a traditional fight while still being a significantly larger opponent. And I feel like Ozicold succeeds at that. I feel like Ozicold's a really fun fight. All of his animations are very expressive and fun, and you know, it does feel cool to fight him. So I feel like Ozicold is a success in that regard. Now I'm not going to say anything about Stage 3 as of yet because it's still very much a work in progress. And you're not even going to see it for like another 5 or 6 days until I start work on it, because the next thing I got to do, you know, is get Stage 2's textures up and then work on the menus for the game so that the game can get its first public build. Feel like this is a pretty good point to wrap up the devlog, so yeah.